Hi guys, why are so many people who are pro-Brexit also pro-Donald Trump, and under the belief that if the UK did a trade deal with the US, somehow Agent Orange would make sure that Britain did well out of it? None of these things make sense, but it seems pro-Brexit GB News thinks that the public are a bit stupid because they back the idea of a closer relationship with Europe than one with Donald Trump's America. One of the guests here thinks that US food standards will increase in the future, and his reasoning is pretty crazy. Then another misrepresented the UK's trade with the EU and then thinks that Donald Trump will do a good deal for Britain. Have a listen to this.
OK, let's have a look at the eye, please, Ben.
No worries. So the eye have put British public backs closer EU trade deal over Trump deal. This is apparently 47% of the British public would rather see us go more involved with the EU than ever acknowledge a trade deal with America. I don't really understand. 47%, don't know where that's come from. Were you asked? Were you asked?
No, I wasn't.
No.
I was just thinking it's the worst would you rather I've ever heard. It's really boring.
Well, I don't know. I'm thinking, I mean, obviously with the coronated chicken, is it yes?
Chlorinated.
Chlorinated, not coronated. That's coronation chicken.
That's much more delicious.
Which I don't like, to be fair. I'd rather have chlorinated chicken. But I'm thinking with RFK Jr. in, maybe America's food will get a little bit better.
What? Are you insane? The guy who's in charge of the Department of Health and Human Services is an anti-vaxxer. He's somebody who believes that people should be drinking raw milk, unpasteurized milk. Honestly, I don't know if he's in control of food standards, but I highly doubt that he's going to ban chlorinated chicken or hormone-treated beef, there are two of the main concerns when it comes to some of the imports from the US as part of a trade deal. Honestly, don't think he's the right guy you should be pointing to increase food standards. He's a crazy person.
The standards will increase, so the trade deal might be quite good. I'm a big supporter of Brexit, so anything that supports that I'm good for. And
I honestly don't understand, and I'm being as honest as possible here. I don't understand why Brexiteers think that a trade deal with the US would be beneficial to the UK. Beneficial to the US, maybe, but how, in what way would it be beneficial to the UK? Honestly, I don't understand. How is this related to Brexit? How is this a Brexit benefit?
I don't know why they're always saying this. Oh, everyone's against it. Let's go back on Brexit. Let's just cuddle up to the EU. No, let's not do that.
Yeah, and I think the point here is that this is not half of all voters. This is half of all people, and not even half of all the people that the I newspaper, which isn't actually a real newspaper.
These are the same people who are demanding another general election because 2 million people or 2.5 million people, if we can be sure, signed a petition online.
Again, in honour of Lewis Schaefer, have questioned. So,
He said he's not a real pundit.
No, well, he's not even a real person, to be fair. What we need is a good deal with both Europe and the US, but we especially need a good deal with our biggest trading partner, which is the US.
We have to repeat this once again. The US is the UK's single biggest trading partner, but it's not its biggest trading partner. The EU is the UK's biggest trading partner. For example, about 80% of the trade that goes to the US goes to Ireland. So if you add Ireland and the other EU countries, the UK does more trade with the EU than it does with the United States. But once again, the United States is the single biggest one, but the UK's biggest market is in the EU. Now, wait till you hear this guy misrepresent that fact.
Which doesn't get brought into this story whatsoever. Just to give you the statistics, we do 22% of our trade with the US, and nearest to that in second place is 7% with Germany. So we can do what we like with the EU. Yeah. And the idea...
Germany is not the EU. Germany is not the EU. Once again, the UK's biggest trading partner is the EU, not the United States.
That we have better trading partnership with the EU after Brexit. Even Brexiteers wouldn't argue with that. But on terms that we all agree with, on terms that support Britain's sovereignty, on terms that support Britain. However, Trump coming in as president, it is a big deal, and I think he could produce big deals for the UK.
It's what we've wanted.
What do you mean for the UK? No, he will look after the United States. Like, you think you would want the British government to get a good deal for the UK. So you would imagine the US, the citizens in the US would like a good deal for the US. Why would Donald Trump do a good deal for Britain? Do you understand how trade deals actually work? Honestly, you want to have a deal that's satisfactory to both sides, but you're dealing with the US here. The UK is a much smaller economy. Who do you think is going to extract more concessions? You know, these people would be happy to hand over the NHS to the US. They'll be happy to allow the importation of chlorinated chicken and hormone-treated beef and other low-quality foods to decimate UK farming. These are the same people who've been crying over the last 2 weeks about how farmers are going to be decimated because of an inheritance tax. But they're saying, open the door, open the borders, allow whatever the hell the US want to import into us. You can't have it both ways. You can't be saying we need to protect British farmers and then say, let's sign a terrible trade deal with the US where they can dump hormone-treated beef and chlorinated chicken into our market.
Since his first term was these trade deals.
We need to get in before the Democrats get back in, because they don't favour us in the same way. Obviously, Joe Biden had his issues. He favoured the Irish over the UK, all that sort of stuff.
He favoured ice cream.
Oh, God. Joe Biden cared about Ireland when it came to the Northern Ireland peace process. Joe Biden doesn't care about the EU. He's not deciding, I care more about the EU. Once again, when it came to a trade deal between the UK and the EU, Ireland was not negotiating. It was the EU that was negotiating. Do these people understand the difference between Germany and the EU? Do they understand the difference between Ireland and the EU? It seems to be not the case. These people campaign to leave the EU, but they don't seem to understand what the EU actually is.
Over the UK.
He
just loved his ice cream.
And his carer.
I love the way you're saying we.
Yes, we.
Paul's in charge. He's in charge of the trade deals.
What you don't understand, Cressida, is that I am very powerful.
Donald Trump is not in charge of the trade deal. It's Congress that's in charge. Now, he will obviously decide who the senior people in government are. But let's get back to this trade deal. Would it be good for Britain in any way? No, it would not be. Because, as I said before, the US would extract significant concessions. Donald Trump wants to be a bully. He says he wants to extract concessions from China. So what sort of conditions is he going to extract from the UK? The UK is in a desperate situation. It's caught between the EU and the US. And you have people on the right saying, ignore the EU, our biggest trading partner, and let's do a deal with the US. Not understanding that the previous administration done trade deals with Australia and New Zealand, which were terrible for UK farming. And now they want to do a trade deal with the United States, which has a huge agricultural lobby within Congress, which of course will demand significant concessions. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.